I'm just wondering who decided that overachieving is literally the guiding light of our society, because it was kind of a shit move. What's up? I'm back. So I actually previously filmed some of this video, but I just didn't have time to finish it. So here we are today. I wore the same outfit. You might see clips from the previous filming that I did, maybe not, but super excited for today's topic, which is why hustling made me super
miserable.
I'm just wondering who decided that overachieving is literally the guiding light of our society, because it was kind of a shit move. And as always, before you watch this video, please subscribe and like this video so that you can see more of me. I can prove that being a hustler is literally making people either 1, go crazy, 2, depressed, or 3, just hate their lives. Because I found this book, let's zoom in here like a true beauty blogger, The Achiever Fever Cure. It literally says how I learned to stop driving myself crazy. A very good book. I highly recommend it. It has like spiritual factors and elements inside of it, but it's a very realistic approach to having achiever fever, which is basically just constantly in this striving of achieving more and more and feeling like you are just
never enough.
So first off, I'm going to give a little bit of background story on why I'm even making this video in the first place. And that is because I spent a lot of my life hustling, grinding, achieving, whatever word you like to use for completing your goals. And it honestly didn't make me happy. The journey had its ups and downs, definitely like anybody's life, but I thought I was doing everything right. And then in the end, I'm still kind of feeling the same as I did when I first started. So after a period of time, and by period of time, I mean
years,
I just felt so lost because I thought I was doing everything right and none of this is really paying off in the way that I had envisioned. And so that led me to seeing a spiritual teacher for a year, crying a lot, and really just learning about myself through spirituality, vulnerability, and really embarking on a journey to start loving myself and then seeing if that was the way to go. Clearly, external factors were not making me happier than I thought I would be before I had them, because clearly social status, jobs, and money were just not cutting it and making me happy. After a certain point, I just felt like an addict. Like I was always craving that next fix, and that next fix for me was achieving that next goal that I had in my mind. Even if I achieved that goal, that fix would maybe last a day, a week, maybe like 2 weeks max,
giving me that high.
and then I would just be like, okay, what's next? So in today's video, we are going to talk about the reasons why being a hustler made me super miserable. Let's have some fun. The first way that being an overachiever made me miserable is any downtime that I had. So time that I wasn't spent at work, or time that I wasn't spent at school, or my obligations. I needed to dedicate that time towards either thinking about my dreams and goals or doing something about them. And if I wasn't, I was a lazy piece of trash and a failure. How is this a good way to live? And needless to say, no matter how productive I was in my head, I was literally driving my body
to death.
I was literally not taking care of my body, not taking care of my relationships, and most importantly, I was not taking care of the relationship that I had with myself. I was so hard on myself every moment that I felt like I wasn't doing something that was productive or beneficial towards my dreams and career. It was just not fun, and I'm still kind of in that mind space. And that's why I am setting the intention and making sure that I'm enjoying the little things in life that I do already have, and that I'm not always focusing on a lifestyle that is even better than the one that I have now. Nobody knows whether or not life is going to get better. And nobody gets to decide that your life sucks or is amazing and awesome other than you. You are literally in control of how you define your life, and don't let yourself be a douchebag to yourself.
Don't let yourself be a douchebag to yourself.
You get to define your life. You get to choose how fulfilling and happy you are in this moment with what you have. Don't think that your future is going to be 10 times better than what you have now. If you don't learn to be grateful for what you have right now, you're not going to know how to be grateful for what you have in the future. Newsflash.
Life's not better on the other side.
And the next point is that being an overachiever, if I wasn't achieving my goals, there was really nothing else to do. That means that I couldn't spend an hour just enjoying things for the pure sake of enjoying them, or they were just seen as a waste of time to me because I felt like, oh, if I'm not, bettering my career or building my resume or making more money, then it's literally a waste of my time. But the problem was I didn't just do this around little fun things. I was also like, oh, if I want to take a trip to New York, it needs to be beneficial for my career, and if not, I'm not going to go, which is absolutely ridiculous, because I think that if you want to take a trip because you want to check out a place and enjoy a different culture, that should be more than enough to go and do that. You don't need to always travel for the sake of work and then having it be part of your career plans. I mean, great if they are, but honestly, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities if you do that, because you're only young once, and you realize that when you're older, you might not even be able to ride a plane because you're old and it's physically demanding to travel 10 hours to the other side of the world. So I highly recommend you do things for the sake of just putting a smile on your own face and feeling that connection with other people, because you're going to look back and really regret not doing things just because you felt like they weren't worth your time and weren't beneficial towards your career. Another thing that made me super miserable, and kind of still does, is once you have this image of being an overachiever, like once people know you're someone who's always like
Goal setting and then killing those goals and then
goal setting. Once someone knows you're like that goal setter, and then you always like achieve those goals, and then you like never fail at anything, or you're just always doing like the right things and like
killing it in life.
Guess what? You gotta keep up that image, and that's a tough ass job. Like, everyone fails. That was one thing that was really hard for me to learn, is that everybody fails and that no one's perfect. Being a Pisces, everything in my life needs to be
Perfect and ideal.
And throughout the reality of my life, I really had to learn that sometimes you just gotta step back and enjoy what you already have. But it didn't stop me from trying to paint this image of myself that was perfect. And if it wasn't perfect, or it didn't go the way that I wanted my image to go, I just felt so bad about myself. And I'm sure lots of other people feel this way, but no one actually cares. And my advice for anyone that feels the same way that I did and still do is that no one actually gives a crap. Like, no one actually cares whether or not you like met the Kardashians or like have 1 million followers on Instagram. Like, maybe for a second they'll like scroll through your page and be like, oh, cool, like Nicole's doing cool things, super happy, living this glam life. And like, even if I feel like people just look through your stuff for like
maybe a hot second.
Nobody has time to worry about your life and whether or not it's like going the way that you think it should, because they're literally worrying about their own life and whether or not their life is going the way they want. And isn't that great? I think that's great. That means like you literally don't have to even do anything anymore for the sake of other people, because I'm just telling you,
nobody cares.
And the last thing that kind of, it's not really like, no, it definitely made me miserable, is that I had like role models that were not healthy humans. And I didn't know this until after the fact. When you're used to looking up to a certain type of person, and for a lot of us, that's people who make a ton of money, who have a ton of luxurious things, and maybe have the perfect relationship and then have a beautiful family. You know how it goes. Those people aren't necessarily showing you 90% of their life, which is not that. Like, I'm pretty sure 90% of their life is just like yours, or literally worse, because now they're faced with the reality that these things don't actually make them happy, but then we are still living in this illusion that it will make us happy. So at least we have something to chase after. Like, we kind of still have a purpose in life, even though it's kind of sad. But like, they've achieved those things, and like, if they are not happy within themselves, they have the same issues as us with all the things that we think are going to fix those issues that did not fix their issues, and now they're miserable, and nothing's going to make it better because earning more money is not going to make them happier, and they know that. It's just a vicious cycle. And that's why I'm saying, if you have the honor and luck of learning that being happy in yourself first is actually going to make you so much happier when you get those dollars, when you get those Gucci bags, when you get that beautiful relationship, because law of attraction, when you are abundant, when you are happy, when you are feeling at peace and joy, you're just going to naturally draw in more of those things. And so be your own role model, or choose healthier role models. Choose people who preach about self-love and true self-love and compassion for other people, and living a more simple and peace and joy-filled life. Look up to those people. Look up to those people who have eaten shit and taken shit from the world, and maybe their life didn't end up perfect at the end. Maybe they aren't a success story. Guess what? They know the realities of life. They've felt it all, and that's real life. And I would rather live real life than an illusion of this life that is supposedly supposed to make me happy and that I can show off, but really I just feel empty inside. Well, that ends my video, and I hope that you took something from this. As I said before, subscribe and like
To my channel and videos.
I'm gonna go and have a fun day. Yeah, subscribe and like this video before you go. Don't forget to follow me here, and link in the whatever it's called description below. And enjoy life. Stay in the present. Do cool shit.